In this video, I'm going to show you how to make your own seafood feast, which includes lobster tails, calamari steak, catfish, and more. Welcome to Lornas.Cookin. I'm Lorna, and if you love to eat things from the sea or ocean, this is the place for you. I'll be cooking a variety of seafood right here at home. But before we get started, please hit the subscribe button. All of the recipes that I'll be cooking are in the description below. Now it's time to cook the seafood, at least how I do it. What we have here today are baby lobster tail, scallop, catfish, shrimp, oysters, and calamari steaks. I'm going to show you how to prep and then cook them and make a beautiful feast. First thing you want to do is you want to rinse off your seafood, and then for the baby lobster, you're going to take poultry scissors are the easiest for me. So I think if you have a pair, I'd use them. And you're just going to cut down, don't cut all the way into the meat, but cut the shell all the way to the last spine. And then you're just going to open it up a little bit. Be careful because these are thick, sharp shells. Exposing the meat, and you want to run your finger down underneath the lobster meat and just kind of bring it up a little bit. You don't want to take the lobster meat so far out, or you don't want to detach it from the shell. And why not? Because it's a nice presentation. I mean, some people actually take the lobster meat all the way out. But this is the way if you want it to look really neat. The vein has already been taken out, but usually there's a vein down the middle here that once you cut it, you'll see it, and you just pull it out, okay? But you see I've detached it all the way to the last part of the tail. But it's still holding on, okay? Okay, so I've rinsed off my shears, and the catfish, this is one way to do it, is to cut lengthwise.
Destinations on destinations on.
And it leaves you with 2 pieces. And as these fry, they do curl up a little, but it's really crispy and delicious on the ends because they're not as thick as if you were to fry the whole fillet. And as you see, these poultry scissors are these, well, that's what I call them. They are really handy. They make it easy to cut into things, cut things up. So if you don't have a pair, you might want to pick up a pair. You can get them from the grocery store. If you want something higher end, restaurant supply, and actually Amazon. You can probably go on there and get some. But these were relatively cheap. Got them from the grocery store. I have a couple of pair, and they work really well. Okay, let me rinse these off one more time. I'm going to cut up our calamari. Okay, so now we're going to cut up our calamari. Forgot to tell you, you also need to be heating your oil up. So then when you're ready to start frying, you won't have to then wait for the oil to heat up while your seafood is just sitting. So heat oil. This is the calamari. These are calamari steaks. And most people see calamari in the little round circles, but this is actually a steak. It could be grilled or fried, or just sauteed in a pan, and it's really delicious. It's a mild flavor. So we're gonna take it. Now be careful because as you see, it's slippery. Okay. and you just cut it into strips. What I'm going to do is fry it the same way I would fry it if it was just the little rings. When I have a variety of seafood that I'll be cooking, I will make sure that I cook or fry the seafood that has the mildest taste first. So, for instance, if you're going to be frying oysters, I wouldn't do that first. Even the catfish, I would save that to the last or the end, depending on what I'm frying before that. The first thing that I would fry in this case is going to be the calamari. While my grease is still heating up, I'm going to season my lobster tail and I'm going to dredge them in flour. Now I season the actual meat, I don't season the flour, so all the seasoning can get on the meat and under the meat. So first things first. So while my oil is heating up, I'm going to season the lobster tail on the top and bottom with seasoning salt and a little bit of granulated garlic. And I keep it pretty simple so the lobster really can kind of shine. So we're going to take it, and you want to get some of the moisture off of the lobster. Before you season it. So I'm going to take my seasoning salt and I'm going to season the top and the bottom. Then I'm going to take my granulated garlic, season the top and the bottom. A little bit of pepper. Now I'm just going to season the top with the pepper. I'm going to take some flour and I am going to stick it in the bag and shake it up. I want all of the crevices of the lobster meat to get flour. And then before I put it in the oil, I'm going to shake some of the flour off. But this is what it looks like after I take it out of the flour. So I'm about to put it in the oil. The oil is ready. These are the lobster tails being cooked first. And you just slowly lower it down into the oil. Be careful not to burn yourself. There's a lot of liquid or fluid in the lobster, so therefore you'll hear a lot of frying as that water or that liquid escapes. So we're going to let that fry for a few minutes until it becomes a golden brown. And we'll be right back. It looks like it's time to take out our lobster tail. And I have a pan with paper towels to let the lobster tail, the oil from the lobster tail drain off. And you see that? It's beautiful. Now while this was frying, the same flour that I used to coat these, I put 1 teaspoon of, let's see, granulated? Yeah, 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic, 1 teaspoon of dried parsley, and 1 teaspoon of just regular table salt. And I put that in the flour. Now there was about 2 cups of flour that I had put in that bag that I had dredged the lobster tails in. So I'm getting ready to now cook the strips of calamari. And just gently pouring them into the oil. Get your fingers too close to the fire, but don't drop it because the grease will splatter on you. These are large shrimp, as you see, and I season them with table salt, granulated garlic, seasoning salt, and finely ground pepper, and just lightly season these. Then I put them in a bag with cornmeal, shook them up, and it just takes a few moments for them to fry. Next we'll be frying the catfish. The catfish was seasoned with seasoning salt, granulated garlic, table salt, ground black pepper, and then it was dredged in cornmeal. And here we go. And when I'm seasoning the fish or the shrimp, I make sure that I don't season too much because you don't want the seasoning to overpower the taste of whatever seafood that you're cooking. So the last thing we're going to fry for our seafood feast is our oysters. And remember I said you fry the seafood that has the strongest taste last so that it won't pick up, or the other seafood won't pick up the taste of it. Now one thing about oysters, they have a lot of liquid, so a lot of popping. You're going to hear that when it's frying. So just try to get them in as quickly as possible and then move back. I seasoned the oysters with a little granulated garlic and a little table salt. They don't need a lot of seasoning because they have a taste of their own. And they don't take that long to fry. wondering what happened to the scallops. Well, I didn't want to fry the scallops, so I decided to cook them in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil and a tablespoon of butter. I'm just going to cook them on a little bit on each side. We're going to sear them actually so they're kind of brown, have a little crust to them. It doesn't take a lot of seasoning for these, so I'm just going to be using a little table salt and just a little bit of ground pepper. Before you season your scallops, make sure that you take a paper towel or something to really get the liquid off of them, because you want to have a good sear when you cook them. Now that my skillet is hot enough, I'm going to place the scallops in the pan. And you want it to sizzle just a little so that they'll get a nice crust on them. I'm cooking these at a medium-high heat for just a few moments on each side. It doesn't take long to cook these. And once you put them in the pan, just let them cook. It only took a minute or two, and then I turned them over. They cook very fast, and you don't want to overcook them, so we're about to take these out now. Take a look at the finished product. We have catfish, fried baby lobster tail, jumbo shrimp or prawns, calamari, oysters, and the scallops. I hope you try it. Remember to hit the subscribe button. Take care.